Welcome to the Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining us today. So, we're going to be diving into some really cool concepts from the English with Friends series, specifically looking at how to express your opinion exactly like a native English speaker. And we're going to take this nice and slow because, sharing our thoughts is something we literally do every single day, right? So, let's jump right in and master this together. Okay, listen to this. In my opinion, pizza is the king of all foods. Now, whether you totally agree with that, and let's be honest, a lot of us do, or you think it's way off base, you immediately understand the point, right? That little phrase perfectly captures our everyday need to share what's on our minds. We're constantly giving our takes on food, on movies, on the weather, the whole shebang. But the real question is, how do we do it naturally, politely, and with real confidence? So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover expressing basic opinions, move into polite disagreement, look at strong agreement, and finally, what on earth to say when you just really lack an opinion. All right, Section 1, expressing basic opinions, or as I like to call it, the great pizza versus pasta debate. Let's kick things off with some foundational phrases. I think is probably your simplest, most natural starting point. But if you want to sound a bit more grounded, I believe sounds way more certain. On the flip side, I feel like kind of softens your suggestion, making it super friendly and approachable. And of course, in my opinion, just sets up a very clear personal view right from the get-go. Now, saying I think pizza is the best is totally fine. But it's a bit basic, isn't it? Let's level it up. Try something like, in my opinion, pasta is better because... And honestly, the absolute crucial word here is because. The moment you add because, you're giving reasons that help people truly connect with your viewpoint. It literally transforms a basic statement into a much stronger opinion, and, well, it keeps the whole conversation flowing. And context is absolutely everything here. If you're in a formal setting, like a serious work meeting, or maybe typing up a professional email, phrases like from my perspective or as far as I'm concerned are absolutely ideal. But if you're just grabbing coffee with friends, to be honest, or just personally, are perfect. They're relaxed, easy ways to just put your thoughts out there. Moving right along to Section 2, polite disagreement. Let's talk about navigating those tricky, different choices. Okay, golden rule time. We should never, ever just tell a friend, you are wrong. Honestly, it's like slamming a door. It instantly shuts down the conversation. Instead, try saying, I'm not so sure about that. It is a beautifully polite, positive way to keep the vibe friendly while still totally standing your ground. So if you want to master this, there's actually a native speaker formula that's a real game changer. Step 1 is to validate. You say, I see your point. This is so powerful because it shows you're actively listening, even if you entirely disagree. Then, step 2, you push back gently. You just add, but in my opinion, and share your side. So it's validate, then pivot. Seriously, it works like a charm every single time. Let's look at a real-world scenario from the English with Friends series, choosing a movie. Imagine your friend is dying to watch a romantic comedy, but you're really in the mood for an action flick. If you use that formula and say, I see your point, but in my opinion, action movies are just more exciting. You've kept the peace. You could even throw in an I believe to suggest finding a movie that blends both action and comedy. See? Polite disagreement doesn't have to be a fight. It actually helps you find that perfect compromise. All right, Section 3, strong agreement. This is all about finding common ground. Now let's look at how we agree, because there's actually a lot of nuance here. Phrases like, I couldn't agree more, or that's exactly what I was thinking, those show enthusiastic 100% agreement. You guys are totally on the same wavelength. But contrast those with something like, I suppose so, or I guess you're right. You hear the difference? Those signal that you're kind of reluctantly changing your mind. Like, okay, fine, maybe they did convince you. And English has some fantastic idioms for when you completely agree. Take this one. You took the words right out of my mouth. This literally just means the other person said exactly what you were about to say. It's such a fun, colorful phrase. I highly, highly recommend dropping this into your next conversation. You'll sound incredibly natural. Here's another great one that's a bit more nuanced. In my humble opinion. Now let's break down that word humble. It basically means to be modest. So by slipping this one little descriptive word into the standard in my opinion phrase, you instantly create a very soft, polite way to share your view. It's basically saying, hey, this is just my small idea. It softens your delivery perfectly. And that brings us to section 4, when you lack an opinion. Because, hey, it is perfectly okay not to know. Look, we've all been there. When you just don't have the information, you can simply say, I don't really have an opinion on that. Or maybe just, I'm not sure. Or even, to be honest, I don't know much about that topic. Trust me, it is so much better to use one of these phrases than to just, make something up on the spot. It's a balanced, totally honest, and completely acceptable response. As they always say, practice makes perfect. The real trick is taking these phrases out into the real world. Try them out with a friend or a coworker later today. And please, whatever you do, do not worry about making mistakes. Literally, everyone makes them. Even native speakers stumble over their words from time to time. The real secret? Just keep talking. All right, let's wrap this up with a quick little test of your brand new skills. If I ask you right now, what is your opinion on this explainer? How would you respond? Would you use, I think, I believe, or maybe in my humble opinion? The world is absolutely waiting to hear your perspective, so how are you going to share it today? Keep practicing, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.